Hello, welcome to CarCast. I'm Matt, the Motorator. DeAndrea here with Bill Goldberg. How you doing? How's the ranch?
It's still here. I had 14 of Gage's friends over this past weekend to celebrate his 18th birthday, and no animals died.
That's
Uh,
good.
uh,
Kids are unharmed. Animals are
Kids
unharmed.
are unharmed. The house is shaken but not destroyed. So, I mean, we're picking up the pieces now, and it's all good. We had a great weekend. They moved on baseball wise, and we're jamming, dude. We're jamming.
Yeah. Before we get into it, let me remind you guys about our friends over at Bet Online. Bet Online is the number one source for all your summer sports this season, from MLB to golf, NBA, and NHL playoffs. You can get all the latest stats, news, and scores available for your favorite teams. You can get the latest odds and lines, including team matchups, player props, and odds for just about every sport out there. Just head on over to the website or use your mobile device to get in on the action. It's Bet Online where the game starts. We were talking a minute ago off the air about shop class, the high schools and stuff, because like you said, you guys are gonna be empty nesters soon. Of all the 14 kids that came over the other day, a lot of seniors and teammates on Gage's teams are all going to be going off to school. Most of them going off to different schools. And you were saying that there's a shop class at the high school, which I was a little surprised to hear. And I mean, I don't spend much time at high schools, but it just seems like a kind of a dying thing, having any sort of like vocational stuff at the high schools. I mean, something like a shop class is probably the first to go. And then I'm sure some sort of arts and music is on the chopping block as well. But you guys have a shop class.
Yeah, any form of individuality is pretty much stricken from their curriculum. But yeah, it's few and far between are the schools that still have trades, that still have shop classes. Gage's school has not only an automotive class, but a metal class, so a
Yeah.
welding class, and call him Mr. Vic, but Mr. Vic has been there like 18 years, and I mean he's obviously seen it all. And to have a shop class is one thing, but to have a shop class teacher that is still an old school mentality guy, working with your hands, invoking the positives about, being able to do things on your own to the kids, and not only teaching them metalworking and welding, but teaching them life lessons at the same time. I've talked to a couple of kids, and they're pissed off about the class because the first 20 minutes he sits there and does kind of like a sermon. But the kids that have left uh, have told me how imperative those first 30 minutes were, and that they wish they had paid more attention. But um, it's awesome, the stuff that has come out of that class, whether it be the excuse me 500-pound shooting target I have down at my range, or Demolition Ranch has one,
Yeah.
or they just built a gate for the Martin brothers. Um, they work these kids, and I'll give you an example. When we moved here, there was a kid named Cole Kennedy. Cole was 2 years in front of, I think it was 2 years in front of Gage, age wise. And he was a linebacker. He played baseball. Great kid. Yes, sir. No, sir. Um, just someone that you want your kid to follow in his footsteps and look up to when you move into a new town, and want to find some kid to set an example for your kid and be like a big brother. That was Cole to my son.
Yeah.
Cole was a superstar in this welding class. He, while he was at school, would come out on property and do a lot of stuff for us, mostly for Wanda at the barn. But he's segued to turning that into his own business. So for the past 3 years, he's been self-employed, and he cannot. He gets so much work, he has to turn it all down. And like you say, there's just not enough kids these days that have
Yeah.
that skill. So I don't know what we need to do to get this trade classes back in school. I think we need to cut off the EV surge. I think that has a lot to do with it, something to do with it at least. but they need to learn how to use their hands and learn, simple life lessons in a class like that. So
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent.
When I dropped my Mach 1 over at Full Throttle Customs, I was talking to Ray that there, and he's a dyno shop, but he does work, engine swaps and tuning and things like that. And I was there and we hung out for a few minutes and was looking at the yard that he has there of cars that are all client cars. And he was just like, that's an engine swap, that's an engine swap, that's an engine swap, that's an engine swap. He must have had 7 or 8 cars and trucks there that were just getting engine swaps. And he's like, I just can't find anybody to work. I get a few young people that come in, they're just like oil change guys and they want to get into this. And it, it's a little tough for him to go, I'm basically training you from scratch. You haven't really learned to do anything. You're not a mechanic, you're not a tuner, you're not a welder. You've been working on cars, but you've just been working at the Easy Lube or whatever. So and he's just like, I just don't have the bandwidth to train you from scratch. So I need somebody with a little bit more experience. And I was just curious. I was like, well, what's going on with some of the schools like the Wyotechs and stuff? And he said, I don't know. He's like they're not really even uh, they're not. I guess a lot of the students that he's met are not being taught any of the new technology either. He's like, yeah, they're rebuilding carburetors and stuff at that school. He goes, but I don't get a lot of that here. He's like, yeah, I've got, we rebuild carbs, we tune carbs. He goes, but we do so much electronic stuff on the tuning side of it. And even the installation, the engine swaps with EFI and wiring and all that stuff is like, these kids come in and they know fuel lines and carburetors, but they don't know anything on the electronic side. I was like, it seems odd that they're not getting taught sort of the newer technology. And he's like, I don't know. He's having a hard trouble. And I talk
You
to
know, my
shops
my
all around.
my guesstimation is that you have so few trades that the places you have trades that offer it have older teachers that have the old school mentality, and that's what the trades have always been. And I don't know if they've segued into modern day, and because of the lack of need for it,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, I don't know where to point the finger.
I maybe they, it's funny. The shops can't seem to hire good mechanics and builders, and maybe the schools can't hire good teachers. Maybe that's it.
I
But
don't know.
uh,
Yeah,
I mean, not good. Just sort of.
in today's society, but what is today's society, right? I mean, it's right where you're talking about engine swaps. That's mostly electrical stuff.
Yeah,
Upgrades. If you got an older car, I'm thinking about doing it right now. I got the
yeah,
'69 GTO Judge. Found out, it's not an all numbers matching car, right? So what do you do with it? You drop a big 450 built 455 at it and just have some fun, or do you just keep it the way it is and build it up? So I don't
yeah.
know, man. I don't know. I think at the end of the day, it's not as much finding a kid that's qualified. It's finding a kid that, even if he's not qualified, he's willing and able to follow directions and care about what you're teaching.
Yeah, you gotta want to learn the trade. Ray specifically has his guy there that's been there for years and years, and they pretty much handle everything. And a few people come in and out, other employees come in and out over time. They just, either move on or can't hack it or whatever. But uh, you know, I see notes all the time from shops like his to all over the country. Wayne Carini, like all these guys are looking to hire people and they just can't seem to hire people.
Well, and look at Carini's show, and look at I can't remember the name of the show. It's on Motor Trend. It's from Ontario, Canada. It's a restoration shop, restoration garage, or something like that.
Yeah,
If you look at a lot of these shops, look at the people who are working in them, and they're not current generation kids by any stretch of the imagination. They're guys that have a skill and that learn the skill and they've known it for 40 or 50 years. Well, my question is, who comes after them? You need to have an apprentice in the shop
yeah.
while he's doing that so that they can actively participate and garner that knowledge from it. If not through osmosis alone, but I don't see kids, I don't see anybody under 30 years old on these shows like that, like a Carini show or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I say, granted, they don't know, but they're not going to know unless they see it.
Ray was basically saying, I don't even want to talk to 22-year-old anymore. 40-year-old is what I want. He goes, because at least that person has had some experience in doing it. But but I wonder, like, what's Mario doing over at Gearheads? Is he looking for people? What's Mark Warman doing? How's his shop doing? Is he mentoring people? Does he have people?
The thing that I like about what Warman does, and it's just I don't know behind the scenes because I haven't asked him, but on camera, he actively participates in sharing knowledge with the younger generation. The painter, the kid who's the painter on there, I guess his little brothers, coming in and help. And I don't know when that happened, but again, that's actively participating and passing it down to the next generation. So I see them doing it on camera. I would imagine Kindig seems like they do stuff like that too, a lot more so than anyone else. And I'm lucky enough to have finally garnered, a network that wants to do Goldberg's Garage, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about formats, and I want to have I'm going to reach out to Lincoln and see if they want to do a segment with the local kids or the local, shop class and do a 10-minute, tutorial or do a 10-minute thing each episode. And just try to get the kids out there and just try to get it in front of more people so that it's an interesting option,
Where did you find your guy, Jackson? He's good. He's a good mechanic. He's a young guy.
He's 35.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He's overwhelmed with his stuff, and he's also doing Matt from Demolition Ranch's stuff. So he's guys like that are few and far between. It took me 5 years to find a dude like that around here.
Does he even have his own shop, or is he just jumping around from like your garage to other guys?
He did have his own shop, but he's overwhelmed now.
Yeah.
He's just overwhelmed. So he hasn't been working for me for a little while because he's just inundated with stuff with Demolition Ranch.
Yeah.
And and he's got an apprentice and he's passing it down, and he's got a guy working hand in hand with him over at Matt's. And they're just doing wild, goofy, crazy shit. But along the way, the kid's going to learn just about everything. So that's the only way to do it, is to have someone in your back pocket, and so they have no other recourse but to learn.
Yeah. Yeah. And in the meantime, we the rest of us try to figure it out on our own.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know whether the electrical problem is my distributor, my coil, or my box. Yeah, exactly.
Except for the tuning portion of it. I got to get Ray to do that for me. So the car's been over there, and I just tell him I'm not in a rush. I got other things to drive. You get to it when you get to it. I know
how the tuning thing's plugging it into a computer, right?
Yeah, but it's physically just his time. He's got to get the car up on the dyno. He's got to get the tune from. He's not creating the tune from scratch. There's a new upgraded tune so Hellion created the turbo kit. The guys, the guy formerly at Palm Beach Dyno created the tune for it, and then he's opened his own shop, and he's got the tune. So remotely, they're going to get the tune into the new device, load that up, then dyno test it and data log it all. And then I noticed a couple little issues with the tune, not at full throttle, but like part throttle at about 2,800 RPM. There's like a little bit of a hesitation, and it just needs to be smoothed out. So he needs to put the tune in, and then he needs to dyno tune it, but not just like wide open pulls. He needs to do some street driving so he can kind of with the laptop and and kind of dial it in, because what I'm looking for is not just the big horsepower number. It's like I want to be able to drive the car comfortably, right? And somebody like Mario would know this as well. Mario
First, you
puts
have
it
to
on there.
drive it comfortably.
Well, I mean, I just don't want to, what it is like you spend all this time on going, oh, I got all this invested in the car, and it just takes the wind out of your sail if you go, yeah, but it doesn't run well. Like it drives like shit. And now I don't like driving it anymore because it's a pain in the ass. Now, I'm not really having that issue, but it was just time to get it dialed in so I can really just kind of enjoy it. And it should be, the car's not so wildly modified. We didn't take the engine apart. We put the turbos on it, but the car should be a fun car that when you get into it, fires up, it idles well, and you can get into it and just have a good time with it. And yes, we do still want to take it to the test track with Edmunds, and Alistair brought it up the other day as well, going, yeah, we haven't done an aftermarket car yet. Yours will be the first. Let's do it. Let's see how it goes. And I told Ray, that's the goal. Like we also want to test it, but it's going up against brand new from the factory cars, a GT 500 or a Hellcat, so whatever tunes coming from the factory, you're essentially competing with that. So drivability needs to be on point. And he's like, totally get it, totally understand. But uh anyway, just was thinking about that, and thinking about shop class, and everybody's kind of hiring, and I see the notices, and people reach out going, hey, we're looking for this, we're looking for a mechanic, we're looking for a welder, we're looking for a tuner, we're looking for a painter, we're looking for, and I'm like, what happened to all the schools? What happened to the, to the,
Well, yeah, if people are reaching out, then anybody out there listening that is and or knows someone that is qualified and is looking for work, let us know.
yeah. So I wanted to bring this up. This is California being California. There's a couple things that are going on in California. First of all,
Where's that 60 billion you guys lost for?
oh yeah, listen, this is just sort of on the automotive side of California being California. There's so many other issues, but apparently there's an agency in California, like a Parks and Recreations, California's Mountain Recreation and Conservation Authority. They're not cops. They have no business
writing tickets.
And they had set up like a camera, and people that do like a rolling stop through the stop sign over by their park, they mail them a ticket. They just mail, it's not even a ticket. They mail them some sort of like citation. It's not a real ticket. And people are so confused by it. They're like, I don't understand it. Did this come from the DMV? This is coming from this mountain recreation group. And it's, it's an expensive ticket, a couple $100s. And they're going, well, I guess I'm paying it, but I don't really know where it's coming from. And it doesn't, if you don't pay it, it has nothing to do with your driving record or your driver's license or your points. I guess in theory, they can be like, you didn't pay, so we're going to report it to your credit and say that you owe us $200. But it's kind of a scam. It's a trick. They're tricking people. They're misleading them into thinking they're paying a, a moving violation ticket. I'm not saying you should roll through the stop sign. I'm just saying there's this agency that has no business issuing moving violations, and they've been doing it for over 10 years. And they've been racking in over $1 million a year on this thing. And now they're just sort of how they're now they're ending up in the news. People are figuring it out, going, what's been going on the whole time. And somebody did the research and said they brought in $1.1 million on average each year. And it's been going on for, I don't know, over a decade. It's like, what's going on? And then the other thing that I saw was, this has been happening up in Northern California, in the Bay Area. People are chopping off the cable and the plug off Tesla chargers. So there's there's you see like 9 or 10 Tesla chargers outside or in a parking garage, and in the middle of the night, people are coming and stealing the cable that hangs there. Why? Because it has a massive amount of copper wire in there, and they're selling it. This is the new catalytic converter theft. Is for the precious metals in the catalytic converter. Now it's the copper wires. They're going there with like a big bolt cutters or something. They're stealing these things, and Tesla's replaced them. One report, this one Tesla charging station area, it had 9 chargers. They replaced the plugs 3 times. They just keep going back. They don't know what to do. They're gonna have to fence them in or something, or do just something to solve this issue now, because now thieves are taking these things and selling them for the copper wire. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I think they said this was happening in some other area like Minnesota or something, but this all just sounds very California to me. Anyway, that's kind of what's going on out here. Oh, I was looking up E85.
Are those near Bakersfield?
Actually, no, this is more like San Francisco area, but yeah. I'm not saying it's not happening out here. Maybe it's happening out here, but uh this the the charging stations wherever they're located, like in a parking garage, who's reporting it is from the Bay Area. But
Right.
yeah. So anyway, that's what's going on here. All right. So this other thing that came up, and oh, this is California as well. This guy's been parking his boat on his trailer, and he backs it into like next to the side of the house, like not quite a carport area, but kind of like on the side of the house. He had like a little bit of dirt area. He parks his car, parks his boat, and the city eventually came to him. The boat's been there, I don't know,
What
4 years.
city? What city?
Seaside, California.
Seaside?
Yeah,
Okay.
Seaside, California. They decided that the new municipal code is you can't do that. So they sent him a notice, and they said you need to build a 6 foot high fence so we don't see your boat. Which is interesting. They didn't say don't park your boat. They're like, you need a 6 foot high fence. But to build his fence, he needed to pave that like driveway area and then build his fence. So he had to pour cement and build the fence. And his neighbor is an artist. So he built his 6 foot fence, and then his neighbor came over and painted a mural of the boat on on the fence. So it looks like the fence looks like the boat parked on the trailer there. And
I love it.
yeah, I just kind of and actually someone from the city commented and said, I like his creativity. Clearly we need to look at our rules the way we wrote them up and sort of modify them. But the picture that I'm showing you, that's the painting. You can kind of see the top of the boat behind it. And he just painted the boat on the trailer. And I don't know, the guy in charge, the one guy at the city kind of laughed and thought it was funny. And all the neighbors now are hiring the artist to do like murals and stuff. So that guy's getting some work, and this guy's getting a laugh, and he still has his boat.
You did a great job.
They did a great job. Yeah, it was kind of fun. I don't know. It was just, it's kind of a harmless retaliation is what it is. It's,
Harmless retaliation, but you have to look at both sides, right?
yeah,
I mean, that could happen anywhere. But in California, when you're in such close proximity to your neighbor, I mean, I get it. It's a big freaking fishing, but I don't. It is what it is.
yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, it was kind of fun to see. Um, we talked about E85 the other day. So I drove by the dealer, and I I drove by the gas station and sort of made note, a mental note. It's $2.99 a gallon.
But still, to see something
Yeah.
under $3 is
Yeah. What do you if you recall, what do you guys pay out there for E85?
I got it yesterday. I filled up yesterday. I didn't even look at it. It's probably 240.
Yeah. So
220 something.
it's not wildly different. It's not half the
Not
cost.
like
Yeah.
not like unleaded and premium. No.
Yeah. Yeah, out here it's like for 91 octane, which is our good stuff compared to your 93, I think it's like $6, $5.99. Some a little over six, some a little under.
3.5.
Yeah. Um, have you heard about Brad Pitt's been working on this F1 movie?
I didn't know about it until you sent it to me. To be honest with you.
He's been working on this F1 movie for a long time. I want to say going on like 4 years, and then there was COVID, and then there was the strikes in Hollywood, and really kind of uh, slowed things down, made things very expensive. Now it's on track to potentially be the most expensive movie ever made, $300 million budget. And, you know, when you basically the kind of the Hollywood rule of thumb is double the budget for your marketing. So you're adding another 300, you know, so you got to be, 600 million plus into production, marketing, distribution. I believe it was being produced by Apple. I don't know if there's another studio involved, like a Sony or something, but Lewis Hamilton apparently is a producer on it, and they've really gotten access to F1. So the F1 races over the past few years, he's been showing up in character with a crew, and they're filming, and they're.
So I got a lot of questions. So
Yeah.
I guess first and foremost, maybe that has contributed to the decline of the performance of Lewis Hamilton over the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, maybe he's a movie producer now.
Number two, what did Ford versus Ferrari gross?
Oh, that's a good question. It was a very successful movie.
Okay.
Far more successful than the Ferrari biopic. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think they're comparable. Number three, what's the storyline behind this movie? Is it past? Is he Ayrton Senna? Is he? I mean, I don't know anything about the storyline.
Yeah. So the storyline is it follows kind of an older retired racer, Brad Pitt, that is called back to run alongside a younger star, sort of an up and coming crew.
So it's all present day stuff.
Yeah, and it's all present day stuff. Now, they're trying to do.
Think about it right from the top of your head. You think the most expensive movie in history, the most expensive sport on the planet.
Yeah. Yeah. And where we are with the dollar, like where we are with inflation and everything else,
and
like
COVID and everything else.
I'm sure someone else is going to go, oh yeah, it's the most expensive movie now. But if you add an inflation and you look at Waterworld with Kevin Costner back then, you're like, they're like, or the first Avatar, because it's been years. So like, yeah, it starts to add up. But the point is it's a big undertaking to make this happen. They're trying to get, guys like Tom Cruise have been pushing this like realism thing with Top Gun and all the flying and all that. And they're trying to do that with the cars. They took, for the actors themselves, they took something else. They took like a Formula something car. I'm not exactly sure. A Formula 2 car.
Or something.
And sort of rebodied it to look like a modern day F1 car. So the actors can get in it and not really kill themselves, but actually get some action scenes of them driving in it. And then that combined with, the real pits. Like I think when they did the Vegas event, he was there again and they were still filming stuff in Vegas at that race.
Imagine how much that would cost during an F1 race.
Yeah, so that's what they're doing.
What are you going to have to pay? I mean, F1 obviously is a contributor and a partner in it, but there has to be some huge fees that they're
absolutely. Yeah. F1's not doing it for the promotion, right? They're not just doing, no. They're oddly enough, it's like if they walked into a Burger King pays to be in that film. I'm sure F1's going, no, you pay us. You pay us a lot. Yeah,
a
you
lot. And
yeah,
it's not like and like it wouldn't be like what they'd have to pay NASCAR, right? So I
right.
mean, it's not apples to apples by any stretch. So
Yeah,
I,
yeah, yeah.
when you sent me the email to prep for the show and I read that, it didn't surprise me one bit. Formula One and the most expensive
Yeah.
movie, Brad Pitt. You know they're going to do it right. Lewis Hamilton's a producer, co-producer, whatever you said on it. So
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. I mean, we've had a couple of really good automotive themed movies, from Rush to, Ford v Ferrari and this the Senna miniseries, the sort of fictionalized miniseries coming out on Netflix. That could be kind of interesting as well. I'm curious to see that. Some of them are hits, some of them are misses, but you're right. This seems like it's got the right team, the right investment, and potentially it could be a very, very cool film. So I'm interested in
yeah, and
seeing
if
that.
it's ever going to work, it's with this combination of people. I mean,
Yeah,
who
I
else?
think it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun. But um, anyway, there's not a whole lot more that's going on. I think later this month, in about maybe the May 28th, we're supposed to get more information from Porsche on what's going on with a new 911. The way we understand it, it will be a hybrid 911, and they're already saying it's much quicker around the ring. But when I was talking to Alistair, they get their driver, Jorg Bergmeister. I was like, well, that guy already in a Porsche on the ring is the fastest guy out there. So I mean, if you want to do apples to apples, yes, you got to take his previous 911 record and put it up against the new hybrid version. But it's funny because there was something else about the Porsche Cayman Manthe kit, and they're like, yeah, it's 6 seconds faster than the previous version. I go, yeah, because you got the same driver, you got your Bergmeister in there. He's the fastest guy in a Porsche around the ring, and it's like nobody else can go that fast as he is in that car. So if you want to set a record, you get that guy to do it. But anyway, it should be interesting to see what they come up with. Um, because you think like, yes, it adds that power, adds that low end torque, and it fills in where the turbo lag is, stuff like that, or any just kind of low end torque pull you out of the turns. When we talked to Patrick Long a few weeks ago, he was talking about 10 years ago with that sort of centrifugal thing in his passenger seat of Porsche, and it was kind of a hybrid system, and it would kind of wind up and almost kind of slingshot him out of a turn. That hybrid system. This is sort of the a decade later, the modern version.
Well, I mean, you say hybrid system, 911, Porsche. I'm, you know where my heart lies, but that's exciting news.
Yes, and it won't be the only option. It'll just be an option. Like you look at the 911 lineup, they do.
That's why it's exciting news.
That's why it's exciting because you can go, hey, this is a really I like what's go like maybe
Absolutely.
you go, oh, I want a naturally aspirated 911 and I want a rear wheel drive 911, or I want an all wheel drive turbo 911, and now maybe you want an all wheel drive hybrid 911 or something to that effect. I don't even know if it's going to be all wheel
It's
drive.
just great to have it as an option and not have it shoved down your freaking throat, right?
Right. Right. Anyway, so that'll be kind of cool to see what they come up with in that. But yeah, is it going to add some weight? Is it going to be a battery on board? How big's the battery? Is the fuel tank smaller? Like, how do they make it all work in the packaging of a 911?
Going to be
Anyway,
interesting.
those are going to be kind of the questions. But anyway, before we wrap up, what's going on in Goldberg's garage?
And I'm just happy the cars aren't scratched and destroyed, that the kids are here this weekend. I'm off of filming this week. I'm trying to package some exciting news for Goldberg's Garage here in the upcoming weeks, but we're just kind of regrouping right now. And
Yeah.
I'm I haven't gotten my hands dirty in 3 or 4 days, like I said, because of all of this other stuff on the agenda. But you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to dive deep into it, and I'm going to get back on that 63, the 330, the lightweight car, the car that I
Yeah.
did the carbs on. It's an electrical problem now, so it starts, it stays running. 10 seconds into the idling, the fricker just completely cuts off. So I'm going to start with the coil. I'm going to go to the go to the box, and then I'm going to change out the plug wires, and hopefully, if I do all of the above, then it has been handled. I won't know exactly which one rectified the problem, but that's what's next on the plate.
Yeah, start doing one at a time, see what it does.
Exactly.
You know, because and if there's a small improvement, then there's an indication of something, you know.
No question.
Yeah.
No question. It has to be. I mean, something's completely shutting it off. So it can't be a fuel problem. I mean, unless the fuels, yeah, it's just now I'm doing the same thing with my lawnmower. For God's sakes, I conquered, I overcame the lawnmower. So, uh,
Well, it ate your phone last week, so now there's the Goldberg versus lawnmower battle.
oh, I won the last one. It won the phone fight, but it tried to break down on me, but I brought it back to life. So
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
you still have to go back and fix Wanda's garden when she laid down the plastic and the whole thing because it ate that too.
yeah, I know.
Okay. Just a reminder in case you didn't do
Thanks,
it
I
yet.
appreciate that. Great.
Just a little reminder.
As I put my coveralls on and go out on the
Yeah,
track.
go out there and do it. All right, we're gonna wrap things up. Just a reminder, thanks for you guys that put your orders in for Bravago, the hard seltzer. Um, a little announcement. Well, follow us on social media at Drink Bravago. If you're in Southern California, we're going to be in a handful of Total Wine stores pretty soon. The order's been placed. I'm doing tasting events with the staff there to get them up to speed on what it is, and then we're going to be out there in and again, we'll announce it on social media and in the newsletter, but Culver City, Huntington Beach, Redondo Beach, um, uh, Carmel Mountain in San Diego, and uh, there's one more: Huntington, Culver, Redondo, Long Beach is the other one. So we're going to be in those locations. So I'm looking forward to that. And look, the only way we can be successful and grow and get more product in those stores is if you guys go in and buy the product from those stores. Then they'll order more, and then we'll keep this cycle going. So we need that to happen. And we appreciate you guys doing that. Drinkbravago.com is the website, and Drink Bravago is the social media. Give us a follow, and we will keep you up to date on when those are going to be available. Probably in the next week.
Take some pictures of you drinking the product, and we'll post them.
Yeah, we're going to be out there shooting with them as well, and trying to get some marketing materials to those guys. All the managers there have been fantastic. I went to each store, met with all of them, and had a great conversation. And they are excited about the product. They're excited about the partnership between you and I, Bill. And they really want to get people to try the product, which was our goal. We just want people to come in and try it. So we're going to do tasting events and stuff. It'll be fun.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Until next time, keep the air in the spare, in the bag, and the wheel.